Welcome to the People, Passion, and Purpose podcast, where you will hear from creative small business owners in the trenches every single day, talking story, talking lessons, talking failures, talking truth. I'm your host, Nina L. Kovner. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome this week's guest, Jason McDonald. Jason is a salon owner, colorist, and the educator with the Goonies Tribe, and one of my all-time favorite humans. Jason, thank you so much for saying yes to coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me, Nina. It's really an honor.
Oh, I love you. Okay, so let's dive right in because there's so many things I want to ask you. When did you become a salon owner and why?
That's an interesting story. So my intention that was not my intention to become a salon owner. I had worked corporate most of my life and then had back surgery, so I was out of work for a while. When I got back to work, I was unhappy in the present salon situation that I was in. I was working commission, and my friend Rebecca Taylor invited me into her salon, and she was really doing great things, and I had hoped to learn more from her, more current coloring techniques and more current techniques, because I felt like the work I was doing was kind of dated. So I began working with her, and shortly after, within about a year or so, she decided to move to LA and gave me the opportunity to buy her out. And so she had the salon established and set up, and so I was like, well, it just kind of fell into my lap. And the next thing you know, I am a business owner.
Oh my God. I'd never heard that story. How did I not know that? I love that. Rebecca's awesome. And Jason, what a great opportunity for you. I love that.
She gave me an offer I couldn't refuse. She was like, hey, this salon is established and it's a cute little place. It's not too overwhelming. It's just a 3-chair salon. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to be a salon owner then.
I love it. That's so awesome. What is one thing you wish you knew before you took over as a leader and salon owner?
I wish I had more experience with managing people. It was hard enough to keep to manage myself. And so I've had some challenges with teammates and managing people. It's really like my least favorite part of the job is babysitting other adults. So I wish I had some more experience with that. I had a guy tell me when I first got to the place, he said, do what you do best and delegate the rest. And that's the business plan that's been kind of working for me. I try to get people I ask for help, and it seems like I've been finding it.
That's wonderful. And yeah, leadership is hard. It's definitely one of the most difficult areas of owning a salon. And it's one of the areas that most people that fell into salon ownership hadn't even considered. So I applaud you, Jason, for that awareness of knowing that isn't quite yet a strength of yours, and how you can make a plan to overcome it. I mean, that's really what it's all about. So I love that. Let me ask you something though, since we're talking about leadership. How has being an educator, because I know you're an educator with the Goonies, how has being an educator helped you be a more awesome leader, or helped you as a salon owner or stylist?
Oh, it has helped me to get out of my shell a little more. I am generally an introverted kind of person, except behind my chair. My chair is my safe place, and I'm the master of my domain. And so getting out from behind the chair and like doing stage work and platform work has been a real challenge. But a good friend once told me, use that fear as fuel. And so I've taken that to heart. And I think that's helped me in overcoming my communication issues. It makes it easier to talk to people on a one-on-one basis when I've overcome the fear of talking to people like 50 to 1 or 100 to 1.
Sure. And I think that's something many of us share in common. There's this kind of shared anxiety that many of us have in common. And, since I've had the honor of meeting you, I felt incredibly comfortable in your presence. And, I think you're a great one-on-one communicator. So, you definitely inspire me a lot as you walk through that. So speaking of anxiety, speaking of inspiring, you share openly on the social web about your sobriety and recovery journey. And as we all know, addiction is rampant in creative communities. Can you share with us a little bit about your recovery journey and kind of where that started and where you're at with that now?
It was a long road, a long, dark road for a really long time, probably close to a decade of just getting by. And then I was laying in the floor detoxing for like the 1,000th time, and considering my options. I had been binge watching like episodes of Lock Up and that kind of stuff. I felt like prison was in my future. That's one of the options on the table, that maybe prison would protect me from myself. Or I had thought about suicide again. Like I'd made a couple of diligent attempts at that and failed. Or I figured that I could really give the recovery thing a good, my best try. And that seemed like the easiest option of the things that I had on the table in that insanity. And so I figured complete immersion in a recovery program. And so that's what I did. I got into a 12-step program, and it's turned my life around. I have a couple years under my belt now, a couple years clean, and I feel an obligation to let people know that it's never too late. Like, it's never too late to start over. It's never too late to get up off the floor. It's never too late to be the person that you want to be. And for a long time, I thought that wasn't possible. And so that's why I feel an obligation to share with people, like, if I can do it, anyone can, really. And if I could come from where I came from to where I'm at now, then the possibilities are endless for anyone, really.
How do you get through the days that you just want to stop?
Well, I have a network. I have a network of friends. I have a sponsor. And then some days, man, it's just keep swimming. Like, just keep swimming. I know that some days are hard and difficult. Some days I have a black cloud over my head. I don't want to do it anymore. Some days I want to not feel stigmatized. So I want to be like normal people. I want to get off work and go and have a drink. I want to go and numb my feelings. And I want to go and do the things. But I have to play the tape through. And what that looks like for Jason is just ultimately destruction in the end, and destruction of this new life that I've created. And I'm just not willing to face those consequences today. So sometimes I just have to sit on my hands and hold on. And I know that feelings will pass. I know that from experience, that there's another side. There's the other side, and it's not ever as long as my brain tells me it's going to be. My brain tells me that I'm going to feel like this forever. My brain tells me that I'm going to feel like this for an unreasonable amount of time. And it's been my experience that those are the lies.
Wow. You, like I said, you are a true inspiration to me for sure in this journey. Let me ask you, you've also openly shared your battles with depression. Are there any tools that you use to help you stay above water those days that you have that black cloud?
The gym.
The gym.
To be honest with me, that is my outlet. I go to the gym 4 or 5 days a week to stir. I do it more for my mental health than for my physical well-being. And it just so happens that I look kind of cute now because of it. But yeah, it stirs up endorphins and dopamine, and then I have to go for my mental health. I choose that over medication. And it works for me. If I don't go for a week or so, I start to feel blah and tired and depressed. And so that's kind of what does it for me.
I love it. And, as I shared, I believe it was on last week's podcast with Aura May, I have started doing that, as I've shared openly. 2017 was one of the darkest years I've had in a decade. And, And I just made a commitment to myself that for my mental health, I was going to do whatever I could do. And I've been trying to be active daily. And I'll tell you, and Jason, you've inspired that as well, because I watch you at the gym. I watch your Insta stories, and I know your battle so well. You've inspired me as well. So thank you for sharing that, because when you share that, we get to see that and we're like, look at Jason. Like, we know how much he struggles and look what he's doing to help himself. So thank you. Let me ask you, speaking of Instagram stories, speaking of the social web, how has social helped you in this journey? Has it helped you?
Oh, wow. It turned my world upside down, honestly, in a very good way. So I was not social media savvy. My Instagram, I had 300 followers, and they were my friends on Facebook and family and stuff. And my Instagram had like 20 pictures, and it was like me at the gym, me and a dog, what I had for breakfast. There was that kind of thing. And then, much like when I got into recovery, they told me, look at the people that are successful and do what they do. And so I just applied that in my career. Rebecca Taylor was a huge mentor for me as it comes to social media. She's like the social media guru that I know, that I knew at the time. And so I just followed her lead. She said, do this and do this. Don't get obsessed with the numbers was a big thing that she said. Only put your best work on the internet. And then all of a sudden, I'm connected to all of these professionals and colleagues all over the country and all over the world, and it changed me almost overnight. Like within a year, my skill level was completely different. I connected with all of these people that also have the same kind of struggle, like my Goonie friends. Like those are my people. We're all these like misfit kids, all these artists. Like wherever we are at, we all feel kind of different. And then we just connected. And so now I have not just colleagues, but family in the industry, and some real like huge mentors, like people that I look up to that are doing amazing things. And I just look at the people that are successful and do what they do. And it seems to be working.
I love that. And I love that you have that network, because it is incredibly special. It's how Passion Squared was built, and it is so incredibly powerful. And I know so many times it's so easy to look at the ugly side of social, but of course we do have a choice, and we do have a choice to have whichever perspective we want. And I love that you see it as such an empowering tool as I do. So let me ask you, what does passion and purpose mean to you?
Oh, that's interesting. Passion, and we'll start with that. So one of the things that I share about when I do my Goonies presentation is there, in my opinion, as a humble artist, a few different kinds of people in our industry. There's the skilled laborer. They go to trade school and they learn a trade. Then they get out, they get into a chain salon, and they hump out work, and they pay their bills, and they feed their babies. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. Now, on the other hand, there's people like me and some of the other Goonies and the people that come to our classes who are never satisfied, who are always trying to make their work better, to excel at their education. That are never really happy with what they're doing, that have a passion for the industry, that are always striving to be the best that they can be. And that, to me, as far as my career or our industry goes, that's the passion is what separates the artists from the skilled laborers. And then purpose, man, like everybody's got. That's really different for everyone, I would think. I think my purpose is to not be average. My purpose is to, because that was one of the things that I had to deal with in recovery. Is I wanted to be normal, like normal people do. I want to, get off work and go and have a drink and be normal. And it's come to my awareness that that's not my destiny. I'm destined to excel. And so my purpose is to live, and to share that with other people.
I think you're absolutely right. You are by far you're an overcomer, you are an overcomer. And that definitely, you've chosen to use that experience that you had to help others see their potential. And I love that. And, on passion. Yeah. I think it's cool that skilled laborers, we all need those skilled laborers. And I also admire, of course, the artist that, continues to push. And like you said, there's absolutely room for everybody. Let me ask you, what is your favorite quote? I feel like I know this, but I'm not going to guess.
My favorite quote is, the only constant in life is change, and everything is subject to change, including what we know about the truth.
Ooh. Do you know who said that quote? Do you know who to attribute that quote to?
I know that it's in NA's basic text.
Gotcha.
It comes from I've heard it quoted from other places as well. So I don't know their originator.
Got it. And why is that your favorite quote?
Because, change is stressful, and nobody really likes change, and that helps me to accept change. When I think about, like, the only constant in life is change. So when life throws me a curveball, I'm like, okay, well, let's just handle it. And then it also helps me to be open-minded, to accept the fact that my truth might change. Like, what's true for me today may not be truth for me tomorrow.
Wow. That's such an interesting thing you brought up is that outlook, because sometimes the older we get, the more resistant we are to change, the more resistant we are to keeping an open mind. And that sometimes, really hurts us as leaders and, salon owners, small business owners, and just humans. So I love that you pointed that out. It really is something for us all to think about, and check in with ourselves on, because we can all be pretty set in our ways, so.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in a constant state of growth, and I can't grow, or I can't graft a new idea on a closed mind, so I have to be willing to accept changes as they come, and willing to bend like a reed in the wind.
I love that. Oh my gosh, I love that so much. So, Jason, where can we find you on the internet?
My Instagram handle is Jason_Headstrong. Jason McDonald on Facebook. Vividly Jason on Snapchat.
I love it. And where does Headstrong come from?
That's a funny story. I'm going to tell it. So. So I'm getting the salon from Becca, and I'd spent a few months trying to come up with a name that suited me, that wasn't like corny or cliche, that was good for me. And the names I kept coming up with were just lame. And so I met with Rebecca like on one of the final meetings, business meetings, and I was like, Becca, can I please just keep Vivid? Her salon name was Vivid Artistic Hair Design. I was like, can I just keep that? Like, I mean, you're going to do other things in California, and you're not even going to be here. And she's like, no, Jason, it's my brand.
Right.
She said, give me a minute, and I'll try to come up with some ideas that I think suit you, and we'll talk about, I'll throw some things at you, and we'll see how you feel about that. And I was like, okay, because she has a marketing major as well. So she has that strength. And about 20 minutes later, 20 or 30 maybe, after we left the meeting, we met at a Waffle House, and she went home and she sent me a graphic. Like, she'd already made a graphic, Headstrong Creative Hair Design. And I was like, holy crap, that's like perfect. So it suits me. It's like me. I couldn't have thought of anything better. And she's like, yeah, I was sitting here on the toilet and it just came to me. And I was like, holy crap, that's amazing. That's a great story I'm going to have to tell for years.
It's amazing. Now. Ideas come from all over the place. I mean, that's why I always keep my phone with me in my notes, so I can always write down those ideas, because it's true. The creative mind is always so active, and I agree that it is a good fit for you. Jason, thank you so much for saying yes. I am going to share one thing. Jason, as we shared, suffers from anxiety. I suffer from anxiety, and Jason was anxious to come on the podcast. And again, it just proves the courage that it takes for us to pull ourselves up and out of these situations. And so, Jason, thank you for showing up. Thank you for being our guest. I love you. I adore you.
Thank you for being you. You inspire me daily.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing your story. I love you, Jason.
I love you back.
All right. Bye, babe.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. To learn more about Passion Squared, you can visit us at passionsquared.net. You can find us on the gram and on Facebook at Passion Squared, and be sure to subscribe and share with your friends. We're so grateful. Thank you so much for joining us. Have an awesome day, guys. Love you.